'tis the holiday season, and as you can see, the crowd is here in the Nexus. This is the hangout spot, still the hangout spot with all these players in the server. As you see it lag. I'm not gonna stay here too long. You can see all the players' names that's in here. But as you can see, stuff is already going on. But why is my hat yellow? I don't understand. Why did it change colors on its own? I just put all this Christmas gear on as I get ready to do this video today. But I'm gonna start with all the goals that they have listed for 2019 that they wanted to try to accomplish. Of course, not everything got accomplished. Not many goals were hit because a lot of stuff was added. And as you can see, as I rotate the camera, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Things are different. You can see the Super Kickers League TV screen over there that used to be a public space. I'm going to get into all that. Now it's been shortened and put into a Nexus, and now it's just deleted from a public space. It's just an area where you can play the mini game, and you can get a trailer and a glimpse of the game if you're interested, which was another game that they worked on. But I'm going to talk about all that, and you can see all these different changes from the Nexus. It's a lot different from what it used to be, because it's not so small now. And what does it bring? The first thing that comes to mind as you watch this and probably see this, it doesn't matter how long you've been playing the game, it doesn't matter if you're seeing this game for the first time. You might be a new player like this guy, running around checking out the place to explore, to see what's in the game, to see what the game is about. When you come on here and download it, a free-to-play game, Nebula Forums, and I played this from the very beginning when the game started as a beta, where the servers weren't really all that strong. It couldn't even handle the traffic of players just flooding in the game because of the hype, because everyone thought it was like PlayStation Home. For the PlayStation Home vibes, people are getting into the game and just checking the game out for the first time. But I'm going to get into all that and talk about everything that they added, and then some other things I want to talk about, things I would like to see in the game. And of course, I already know the year is not over yet, but basically all the way up till now, there's been a lot of updates, and I want to talk about the game, discuss what I want to see in the game, some particular things. I got all the updates in a playlist. In numerical order, I have listed of everything that they did from January all the way up to now. So I'm first going to share with you guys the graphics, not the graphics update, because I'm going to talk about that as well. The 2019 goals that they wanted to accomplish, and all this is going to be listed in the description, and also as well as the things that we didn't see this year, and then also the things I'm going to mention that I would like to see in the game, see added eventually into the game. So let's start with the 2019 goals. I'm going to read them aloud for you, and you guys can check this out on the Nebula Forums Facebook page. You don't have to go to any other social page that they have, not the Instagram and not the Twitter. You go straight to the Facebook page, and you can see these goals for yourself if you go to their pictures and photos and stuff like that, and even all the other photos and stuff that they did from prior to this year. So let's get it started. We got the PC version for Steam and Epic Stores. This is 2019 goals, by the way. Add PSN Trophies. Clubs implementation. Improve game animations. Massive graphics update. Improve game performance. Make the game more user-friendly. Add more playable content. Expand the game with many more public spaces. Character editor code rework. Regular updates with bug fixes, content, and events. Add more third-party companies, add inspection feature, and add player ID feature. And then the last one, update some current public spaces. As you can see, has been updated. But as you heard me just read some of those aloud, you already know that some of these things weren't obviously added, just based on what you can see on the screen here. And so what I'm going to do right now, since that's our 2019 list of goals that they were trying to aim for this year, I'm going to now get into the things that weren't hit. Let's start with that first, and then I'm going to start talking about what they did, or everything that they did so far this year. But let's talk about the goals that they didn't hit, at least from what I've seen. obviously the PC version for Steam and Epic stores, and then and something I want to say about these for 3 particular goals. There's 3 particular goals that's in that 2019 list that I just read to you guys. That's originally were 2018 goals that were carried over into this year. Now, which were those? Which three goals were they? That were originally 2018 goals? We have the PC version for Steam and Epic stores, the PSN trophies, and then the clubs implementation. Now, those 3 goals that I just said, those are from 2018. Now, I don't think this game needs PlayStation trophies. We don't need PSN trophies. If you're a trophy hunter and you want to get platinums and you just go for every achievement that you see, when you get on here, this is not like a game that I think would have trophies. I don't think so. But just opening up the public spaces, I wouldn't really be able to think of any trophies. And I'll just like I did last year, I'll bring up the same example that I'm going to do in this video. Like the personal spaces, for example, not the public spaces, but the personal space. I would imagine one of the trophies being decorate a personal space to a certain point, or maybe decorating a personal space. Any personal space that you own could be like a possible PSN trophy for Nebula Forums if they ever get to it and they ever decide to add PlayStation trophies. That could be one of the examples they could do. But I don't think this game I don't think that it needs PlayStation trophies. It's just not the type of game I would probably add trophies. But if they do, I'm gonna probably go for some of them. But I'm not gonna really try to platinum the game and try to grind it out and try to get a platinum trophy for this kind of game. But it just doesn't seem like a game that would have trophies, at least in my opinion. And now the other goal was that I already mentioned was the clubs. The clubs should have been in the game from the beginning. I thought they should have been. I thought that would have been something that they were going to focus on, and something that stood out to me as I was scrolling while I was researching. I was going through like their page to see what was said and what they were really focusing on for this year. I got to bring it out and just talk about it before I get into that. But the other goals that weren't hit was the graphics update, the player ID feature, and inspection, and the game performance improvement. I don't think the game runs any better now because the crashes have gotten worse. Now, why am I bringing up the crashes? Where do I usually crash at? Where do the crashes most likely occur? Zero District right here, and the newest public space right here, the steampunk. I can't even go. I don't even want to click the X button. I'm going to make sure I don't press it because I don't want to go to the steampunk space and get a blue screen right away or just get stuck there. And just in a matter of minutes, if I go to Zero District, this is the space before it was added that was added before steampunk. If I go to Zero District, the same thing will happen. It's just not safe to go to these spaces because they haven't been fixed. So that's why I have to really question the game performance. The lag is still there, and the client disconnects. Sometimes it happens, but then just being in the Nexus, that's why I'm not about to stay here for that long. I'm gonna go to a different random space that I think that's gonna feel safer and have less amount of players because there's gonna be so much traffic because everybody goes to Nexus. This guy riding around the locomotion, the party machine pet, there's all the bright lights. I don't think that game can really handle all this. And this is something, it can't handle all this stuff that's going on, all the conversations. See how everybody's coming over here at the dance floor, just hanging out. It's only a matter of time until it just kicks you off. So that's just how unstable the servers are. So that's why I don't think the game performance hasn't really gotten that better as good, because it still lags. You still have some issues connecting, and just like places like the cinema, as much as I love it, I don't even want to go in there because it slows down my game when I go there. The frames just drop. So that's all I can really say for that. But that's all the goals that they didn't hit. But everything else that they did, just going through the list, I'll be able to name it out and just talk about everything that they did for this year. I'm gonna get into right now. And then later on, after I get through this, I'm going to talk about the things I'd like to see in the game, see added in the game, and what they could do to improve it. Now, before I even start talking about what they added for this year, I don't want people to get it twisted. I'm still a supporter of the game. I've been playing since day one. And if I want to get off this game, I could delete in a heartbeat. And of course, I don't need to rely on this for content. I'm playing so many other games. There's so many other games coming out next year and getting ready for the next generation of video games. It's so many things to do. So when I'm not on here, when it's not an update, I'm not sitting on here just standing on a dance floor doing the same dance moves over and over, standing still looking like a zombie. I don't need to come on here. It's just nothing really has been really going on. There's the lack of activity has really stopped me from just coming on here and doing like hangout streams to try to hang out, because I'm worried that once I do it, I'll just crash. I'll just be crashing. I'm crashing in a matter of moments. I can't even stay on here and hang out with others how I want to for like streams, because the servers are bad. The servers are not that stable. So that's just my issue. So I'm just hoping that they just bring out more activities when it's just sometime soon. But I don't want people to just get it twisted. I'm just talking about the game to try to talk about what could be added to make the game better, what could be done, and the issues with the game that I'm experiencing. I'm sharing my experience. I'm sharing everything that I go through on this game, and along with the updates and things that I like to see. And if it's nothing that's really added and the updates are so small, I'm off the game. I'm on my way on something else. But this is just, you see this lag? So I'm gonna get ready to switch spaces now. Let's pick a space first before we start talking about, how about Lee Park, because there's hardly anyone that goes there. So as this gets ready to load up, let's get ready to start with everything that they added in the game. And I'm gonna say a couple of things as well. So we got the first update for this game was January 11th for this year. And they started with a personal space. They started with a lake apartment personal space. And then outside of that, I'm not going to just name all the personal spaces that they name in order. Oh, they added this day, this date, this, that, and this and that date. I'm going to name you guys the other personal spaces that were eventually added as the year went on. The first personal space was lake apartment. And then along those lines, we have Serene Garden. We got the Woodland clearing. Just made it to the space. We got the Woodland clearing, Sorcerer's Eerie, and then some others that I'm gonna bring up, along with the Nebulian Yacht, which was a summer space. It also came out as a open house, but it wasn't really all that. But outside of that, let's bring up the shop too. So I'm gonna have that up, so you guys can see all the other personal spaces that was added. And I'm going to try to be careful because, speaking of the game performance, you can't scroll down too far because you'll freeze and lock up in the shop. So, see how you can see all these other ones. The very bottom one, I'm just scared to go down there. The very bottom one is the greenhouse apartment. That was the very first personal space, but that's very old. But as you can see from the lake apartment, this is where it all started. From the first update for this year, we got the lake apartment, Serene Garden, just like I mentioned. You see the Woodland clearing, the Sorcerer's Eerie, you got the Nebulian Yacht, you got the Zero District Den, and we got the Camp Silver Lake space that was from Friday the 13th. It's almost similar to it, with a Jason running around, a different version of Jason running around chasing you and all that. And then we got the steampunk space, and then recently from our Halloween reward, if you completed this space, if you got this is free. This is the only free, this is one of the free, I guess the first free personal space that you get as a reward, the Deadquarters from the Halloween event. It was the third final reward for completing that mini game from the, it was originally called the Witch's Suit. I'll say that. That was his old name, the Witch's Suit. But it was now, they renamed it to the Collector. So that's what it is. So then right after that, we had our furniture bundles from the shop that you can click on and have access to in the housing. See, furniture bundles at the bottom. See, we got this. We end up getting all this furniture bundles here. You can click all that. I ain't gonna go through all of it. See, it's just a couple of the furniture bundles. And then, something to say, January 14th, the new Nebula Forums came out. I just had to mark that date. That's something that they came out to a couple of days afterwards, after that little personal space came out. They decided to bring back the Nebula Forums, which I thought never was going to come back to the game, because every time I asked about it, they never really had the chance. They always would say, oh, there's no plans of having them return. They don't think it will ever return, and here they are. They end up bringing it back by surprise. The Nebula Forums that was brand new that you guys could sign up for. Now on the forums, you could just go in there and make suggestions, but you can't just come out with like a say bring up a space or something like that or a dance. You want to have like a video. From what I've seen, you gotta have like a video example, or you want to have a photo example. So they have so it's a little bit more specific of what your idea and suggestion is and all that kind of stuff. Now, am I part of the Nebula Forums? I am not signed up for the Nebula Forums at all. So that's just something that I wanted to make clear. So everyone that's gonna watch this, I'm not part of the Nebula Forums. So that's just a place where you can just suggest your ideas and put all the I guess try to suggest ideas for the game and all that. You can't talk about any issues there, and that's something that I dislike about the forums. You only have to email them the issues for the game only. You can't talk about the bugs and all that here in the forums. But the forums to me is supposed to be a discussion place, a place where you can just talk about anything for the game in general. And something that I also just have an issue with is that, what if you don't have like a channel? You don't have to make a video about it, and you can't make a video about an issue. You have to. How are other people going to be in the know about a place that's not safe? I can't sign up and go to the forums and talk about, oh well, this specific space or this particular public space is not safe. Like Steampunk, for example. Just got to say it again, it's not a safe place to be at because it just creates blue screens. And if you're playing this game for the first time, you don't want to go to either one of these two places. Zero District, Steampunk, and all that. Those are all spaces that's just going to cause crashes for your game. So I can't really recommend it. But that's just something I had to mention about the forums. But right after that, from the forums, we got the Super Kickers League. They started the production of the Super Kickers League game. They were talking about that. Now, Super Kickers League is a different game from this, a completely, totally different game of this game compared to this. It's not even a social game. It's a sports game. Whoops. So she just loaded in. But it's a sports game. See, it's much more safer here. So it's a perfect place to talk about the game and continue to go on. Super Kickers League was a sports game. It's like a soccer game that they came out with, made by Zylot Studios, similar to this game, almost like this. Like they had this game, two different games right away. Now, something I wanted to mention in this video is that I feel like the Super Kickers League got in the way. I think Super Kickers League was the game that got in the way and slowed down the updates and production of all their focus of these other goals. Now, when I say that, I'm going to read you guys the post that I went back to read and wanted to share with you guys, because that's why I feel I think Super Kickers League was such a big waste in such an underwhelming public space. It's gone now. You don't see it come up here. It's just like I showed you guys in the Nexus, it's there now. It's part of the Nexus now. They could have just, instead of wasting all that time, making that public space for Super Kickers League, only to delete it and make it a small little corner where you could show the trailer on a TV, on a television, and then just a goal with a ball in front of where you could just kick it there. They could have just made it, they may as well just made it like that. Instead of just making it a public space, of one little public space that was closed off. Like, why have that and just have us wait and get excited for it? But it wasn't really all that good of a public space. I think that was one of the most disappointing public spaces in the entire year that I've ever seen in the game. I got so excited for the Super Kickers League space. I thought it was going to be like an all-out four-player multiplayer. We could team up and play against each other, playing soccer with teams. That could have been a really good space, but they closed it off and just made it so limited to the players where you just kick the ball 3 times and you get the reward for the day, and then you just come back the next day and do it again, and then to get your next following rewards. The only cool thing about it was just free rewards, but it could have been such a big soccer field where everybody could just play together and make it. It could have been one of the greatest multiplayer games in the game. Super Kickers League could have been so much better, but they just minimized it into that one little session as a TV screen in that little mini game. It was just so disappointing. Only to have it removed and then It was just it was only specifically there for the promotion of the game, but they could have just made, just like I said, they could have made that little small section instead of just bringing out that whole little public space that was so closed off you couldn't even explore the cities. And you guys can go back and watch that if you want and really see how it is. If you never got a chance to see what Super Kickers League was looked like in the beginning. So that's something that really just bothered me from this year's update so far. As I continue to go, I just feel like the production of the Super Kickers League game slowed down the progress of other goals. Now, I'm going to read you guys a post that stood out to me that I was reading before I even start talking about the other stuff that was added into the game right after Super Kickers League. So what they said from January 1st with this post, it was like, many of you were asking about the PC release and the Steam and Epic Store release. They said this January 1st. This is a top priority for us and is what we're going to focus next. Then they said this is top priority for us and is what we're going to focus next. Trophies and clubs will be implemented after the PC release. You see what I'm saying? So how was that supposed to be your focus when games like that got in the way, and then you started coming out with all this different stuff and content with personal spaces and stuff like that? That's why I think they'll say they're focused. They're doing too many things at once. So they can't really, it's tough for them to focus on one goal or one main goal. How is that the focus when you were coming out and focus on promoting that Super Kickers League game? I just have to say it. I just think that was the most important thing. Once they were working on it and they came out with that public space, the whole sole purpose of that was the promotion of that game. And then they've lost so much time to work on this game to improve the servers and everything else that could have been hit. We could have had the PC release already. The graphics could be so much better. It's just the same thing over and over. We don't look any different. So I think we could have had some of these goals that could have been, more of these goals could have been hit, I think, in my honest opinion. So I really had to say that. Now, the code right after that, leading on to the public space and the Super Kickers League release and all that kind of stuff, which was a soccer game that you could play for $15 off the store. The Q rework ended up coming out. The Q rework. Now, I want to go there. I'm going to take the risk and go there. I hope I can connect there. And just to show you guys a little bit of it. The Q rework was redone. Now, this was one of the things that they did. It was one of the public space reworks. And this has not only got the rework, but the cube got just completely revamped. And it looks so much better. I think this is an upgraded dome. I just hope that it lets me get there. The cube rework space with the Zero District public space came out with it together. They came out together. The cube rework space, this cube remake. Yeah, there you go. Got it. I'm not gonna stay too long. I'm gonna go right back. But that's just what you have to do. You don't want to stay too long. See all these lights? You probably didn't really get. You guys can see all the old original cube. You guys can check that out too. It was only a green space with like green squares. It was only this dance floor. You didn't have this ramp or anything like that. It wasn't all lit up with the stars or anything like that. It looks completely different. Now with this, you can call it the cube or the ray space, what it was usually called. This also gave you access to the Zero District, so you can go there and exit. You just take the let's see if it comes up. See, you can enter Zero District here, but I'm not going there. Don't go there. See, I'm the only one in here. I don't think anyone else is here. See what I'm saying? You just have spaces like this. See, you got spaces like this that just sit here. But maybe it is safer because I'm the only person in here now, because there's less players. But you see the changes here. This came out with the Zero District public space. I would show that because I would show it, but it's just like I said, it's one of the most unsafe spaces that just creates blue screens and crashes. So you could just really just get a visual of what this space looks like, because it was just only a floor. They made the floor a little bit bigger, and then that was it. There was none of this. You couldn't see these signs that say RoboCorp. These little signs on the lights. You didn't even see this part of it, the sky. Glow sticks above us with emojis flinging around. You could change the music here from the floor to whatever song you like to listen to. But that was everything else that was next. And then the Nebulian open house was added. from this year. I'm gonna head there next. It shouldn't take so long. And just to say, if I get stuck in a loading loop, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm not gonna stop and make another video. It may even eventually get me in there within the next 10 minutes, because I was in there. I remember when I was playing this on the stream, it took like 10 minutes for me to get into the beach. When I thought I was gonna have to restart, I eventually got in there. It just took so long. So you see this? You see how fast I got here? This is just solid. See how fast I got loaded in here? I loaded in here faster than anything else. Creating players. See, this is the open house of the Nebulian Yacht. I was gonna say Nebulian lot, like it's a parking lot, but it's not. It's nothing. There's nothing else here. How is this an open house? This is something else that I found just wrong with the game. Why is this an open house? Open house is supposed to be something that's is just accessible. Everything's supposed to be accessible to the visitor. But when you spawn, you come here, and that's it. You get this one top floor. And then when you go down here, this is going to take you back to the Nessus. You can't go anywhere further in this space. The open house is only a preview of the top floor, but you'll have to buy the personal space on the shop. Show it again. At least show y'all the preview. I think it should work. The Nebulian apartment. This is the Nebulian Yacht for 13K. Look at this. See, this is a personal space. For an open house, it's supposed to have you have access to everything else that's in the game. You're supposed to have access to get a preview and a taste of what the space is like. But it's like they wanted you to buy it first, so you could basically see it from just the picture from clicking on it. The open house needed to be adjusted, but they never did it. I don't know what they were thinking for that. The Nebulian open house. It's not even really an open house, but you basically can see everything that you can see and get a taste of what it's like from the pictures and stuff like that. So you basically visit it from just clicking the image. You don't even have to buy it. But what else is it like? You could just take the jet ski at the bottom. If you look at the picture on the bottom left, on the left side, outside of these previews that slide, this photo slideshow, look at the picture on the left. You can see that little tiny red marker. That's a jet ski that you could ride to go to island to island. And if you own the space, that's the night cycle. If you own the space, you can go to island to get a couple rewards, a couple free rewards, which I heard is like a chair and some other things. And then it's not really all that good of rewards. But after that, they eventually get in there. They get in, after this Nebulian Yacht. In this open house, if you still want to call it that, they ended up getting another brand new third-party company, a third-party content creator. Tribal Games joins Nebula. But after that, was there any other third-party developers that joined them? There wasn't. There was no other third-party developers. Tribal Games creates tattoos for the avatar, which are pretty cool. Let's bring it up. If I can, there it is. Take a look at our treasures from around the world. This is their newest third-party, Tribal Games Ltd. Tribal Games was their newest third-party developer from this year only. But I'm just going to show you guys some of their tattoos that you can see, and some of the other content that they make for the game. Fire style, it's some cool stuff, but they need more third-party developers. I would like to see that, and there hasn't been any other third-party developers besides Tribal Games from this year. This is a free shirt that you can rock for male and females if you want to get one, if you haven't had a chance to grab it yet. But this is just some of the things on their store of what they do. Look at these tattoos, they really look well done, and these just different things that you can get for content, for clothes, fishnets and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But what I want to see is, I got scared because I went all the way down there. But what I want to see is just like more third-party devs to be added into the public spaces to create them. Not personal space focused third-party developers. I want to see them come out with public spaces. Because we got so much stuff for our avatars now. Tribal Games is going to be doing some good, nice things. As if they haven't already, as you've already seen, is evident. Very well done. But I want to see some more third-party devs join. But these, just like I said, this was the only third-party developers that was joined that joined Nebula rounds from this year. Tattoos for avatars, and then the content that I showed you that you can get your hands on. And then after that was the Nexus remake. I already went there and showed you guys that, but I don't think I want to go back. The Nexus remake. I'm gonna probably try and go back one more time. Because I'm just gonna go around and see it. Just take you guys all around. I hope I can get there. I'm gonna just use one of my locomotions so I can just speed through it with my the camera. The camera zoomed in. Now, this a couple things I want to say about this Nexus remake. So one thing, it looks similar. We got to get over PlayStation Home, right? We supposed to get over to just drop PlayStation Home, forget it like it was a memory, and put it in the past. But the Nexus remake looks exactly almost similar to the Central Plaza from PlayStation Home. Where did they get the idea? So just go here. Watch this. Spawn. Let's see if I can spawn it. Oh, now I'm in a nice angle. Whoa, lag. Whoa, see what I'm saying? Game performance. This is improvement. Whoa, I'm frozen. I might be frozen in an running mechanic. Well, just take a look around me as it gets ready to load, or at least try to load. It's frozen. It's frozen as soon as I spawn in Nexus. This is game performance. Oh my god. Just here. I guess this is where I'll just continue to just go through it. Unless it loads. I don't know if it is. But just take a look around it. It looks bigger. It's almost like a Central Plaza. It's like they brought it out and made it bigger a little bit. But what I like about it is just that they got the different icons that can lead you to different spaces in the game. This sucks. I'm not going to really be able to open anything. I'm completely stuck. You see what I'm talking about? Can you say this game has improved game performance? The proof is what you see. But the Nexus remake is really cool. I think this is one of the best things that they did for this year as far as their updates. And then just to say it again, it just looks so much like the Central Plaza. It looks almost similar in size, but they just made it bigger so that when everything's not so small, everything's not so tight, just where you can just go around the space to explore. I can't believe it froze like this. I cannot believe that. Right when I decided to go here, just to try to show y'all and walk y'all through it. It's just not even moving. But right after that, we have the Zero District Den personal space that was added. See, thankfully, I got all this. You guys already got a glimpse of it. I just didn't click on the preview from the shop. But the Zero District Den, you guys can check out the video if you want. The Zero District Den personal space is is the smallest one. It doesn't even look all that good. It's really small. Zero District Den personal space. That could have been added in the Zero District public space. That could have been an add-on to that. Why does it have to be a personal space? Now, locomotions was added a lot. We got a lot more than locomotions right after that. The personal Zero District Den personal space. Locomotions that really are well done in the game. I think those are one of the coolest things that they ever added from most of these updates besides the clothes. We got bites, unicorns, oysters that I had listed here that I mentioned. Bites, unicorns. Well, the inflatable unicorns that you can just ride on. The oysters that you can sit on and float through. Jetpacks, like using the Grand Theft Auto jetpack cheat that I love from GTA. And then some other ones, you got the little beast locomotions that are one of the best locomotions in the game. The beast locomotions, those are really well done. That you saw someone just floating on. You can see the wing at the top right. You see it right there. I can't believe it's froze. I don't even know if it's making a noise. It's completely locked. The cinema now, right outside of these locomotions, the cinema that you can see over here in the Nexus on the screen. I've never seen this happen in my game. The cinema opened. The cinema or the movie theater that everyone wanted to see opened up. This was the greatest update from this year. I don't think anything's gonna top this update from this year. The cinema update, when the cinema finally opened, everyone's so hyped up for it. They had they had cartoons that you could play. Even one of my favorite horror classes that I still love watching to this very day, Night of the Living Dead, is in the movie theater or the cinema. However you want to call it, was added. That was really cool. You can get popcorn, and you can see on the sign over there. You can get the popcorn, but it costs an MP, just a couple Nebula points, and then you can get from the Lights Camera Action shop, you can get like a free hot dog and a soft drink. You can't really eat the hot dog and a soft drink. That's just in your inventory for your hands. That's it. But you can eat the popcorn, but you can't eat the hot dog and the soft drink. But the running with the popcorn is very stale when you move. I didn't really like how you did that, and you just don't really eat the popcorn like you're supposed to. That's why I said I think the animations with the avatars needs to be just upgraded, because we just don't blink, we don't just eat and move properly, we just move so stiff. So I think that should have been something that could be improved. But that cinema update with that movie theater update from this year is still the greatest update I ever seen them do in the game. I think that was the most hyped one. It destroys every update that they did from this year that I had to really mention. But outside of that, coming up next, we got the Camp Silver Lake apartment that I already just showcased on the screen. But it's just similar to it. You just have Jason running after you as a mini game, a very good. I think that's the best personal space to get, because you can get so much more rewards now. A good variety of rewards from a machete, and many other items as well. And then with the mini game, you just have a Jason just chase you around, and once you beat the time limit, he chases you around for about 50-60 seconds, I think. And if you just outrun him, you can get those rewards. But he's going to get smarter and know your patterns and where you go and catch up to you. But if he swings on you, you just lose the minigame. It's a really cool personal space. I think that's my favorite one from this year. Not just being a fan of the Friday the 13th movies, a huge fan of the Friday the 13th movies. That's one of my top favorite horror movies. But just the fact that they really did really good with just adding activity. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see in these personal spaces, because it gives you a reason to get the personal space instead of just decorating. It's just there for show. And you just visit there one or two times, or get someone a tour, and then you're up out of here and back in a public space. So I think that was really well done. Now the steampunk space, you guys already heard me talk about it earlier in the video. The steampunk public space is just blue screen mania. Blue screen mania along with Zero District. Now you just, as you can see right here, I'm frozen. I'm stuck here for the rest of this entire video. And it's perfect to showcase this, because that's why I put Game Performance. Game Performance has not gotten any better. You just crash and freeze. I have never seen this happen at all. Sure, that's the biggest lag spike. I don't even know if it's gonna ever work. I'm just stuck. I'm stuck completely. But the steampunk public space was very well done. It's such a huge space. You got the little train that you can ride on the tracks and stuff like that. You can ride the jetpack to collect. They just changed up the minigame because they took out Medieval Village was already removed prior to this. So they just moved the fairy lights into the steampunk space, but they changed it. They changed the minigame, so you're just collecting like the little orbs. You're collecting the orbs from just flying the jetpack to get points, and you just play it every 19 hours. And then alongside of the steampunk space, we got another personal space, the flying device. That was basically the blimp, but that's all you can do in there. There's no mini games. It's just a jetpack mini game. You just fly around the sky. I got the video for that if you want to check that out, to get a really preview of all the little personal spaces. The flying device, it looks nice in the sky. You're just flying on a device. That's it. And but it's just, you could just fly around in the jetpacks, and then it's just like one little room with a staircase, and then that's it. It's a small personal space. I think that's a disappointing personal space. It's not all that good. I would rather go to the Super Kickers League. I would rather just stand in there. Now, from October, we're getting closer. The Halloween 2019 special. We got Halloween Ghost Town returns again. That makes a comeback. And just like I said, Deadquarters was the coolest thing that you could get from it. From the rewards, I got the rewards from off the top of my memory, but I don't even have to open my going back to my wardrobe or restarting a video. You get a monster cap, you get the skeleton hoodie that was almost similar to one last year's, but it's just a different color with the skeletal bones on it and the skull over the hood. That's the second reward. And then the third reward is the Deadquarters space that I just showed you guys from on the shop. That's free, that you get. That's if you completed the collector. Now, if you didn't complete the collector minigame, that's gone. They took that out of the Ghost Town. They kept Ghost Town. They decided to keep it. again, but they took out the mini game again. The collector. Why would you take away the activity, the only activity you can do in this public space out of the game? And the other people who don't get a chance to play the game and finally get some free time to come on here, they don't even get a chance to get the reward now. But at least they'll be able to get, if they find a friend that has the personal space, they can get to see how it is. Deadquarters is just it's very small, tight hallway when you spawn, and just a little center part, and then something just trying to break out of a room. It's like a monster trying to get out. And then after that, out of that center, is one room in the back with the sinks and stuff like that. There's nothing else. That's the whole personal space. I got the video for that as well, if you guys want to check it out. So that's just basically it. That was the free Halloween rewards. All 3 of the free Halloween rewards. And then a little bit after that, leading up till now, just multiple shop updates that's seasonal for the fall outfits, leading up till now for Christmas and stuff like that. I don't even think we're going to get a Christmas event. It might be completely different in a video if they decide to do one. And if this big update, I don't know what they're going to be adding into it. But other than that, leading up to now, it's been multiple shop updates with just some new clothes, vampire hunter outfits that look pretty cool. The outfits look cool, don't get me wrong, with the clothes and all that, nice clothes. But I don't want to come on here for some clothes and just look flashy. I want some stuff to do. I want some new places to go to. I'm wanting to see a public space. That's what I'm hoping to see. A new public space to go to. But before they even come out with that, they gotta stabilize the current one, because the current one was steampunk, and with steampunk's case, it's just not saying. I couldn't even go there to really explore the public space. I didn't even get a chance. I got to be in that space for a few minutes before it crashed. And then I decided not to. I reloaded my game out and decided I'm not going there until they fix it. And they still haven't fixed it. When is that space going to be stabilized where other players that can get in? I can't even go in there and showcase it. I couldn't even go everywhere that you could possibly go into the steampunk space to be accessible. Right, that little tram and stuff like that on the railroad, on the tracks and all that. It ain't nothing else that you could really do there. And in that mini game, I got to experience that really quickly, luckily, before it could crash. But now, ever since then, I never went back to it. So that's all we really got from this year all the way now. Can I say there's a major highlight for this? It's the cinema right there. The cinema space, the cinema opening, and then the Nexus. I'm basically here with the highlights. I'm frozen in the highlight. From this year's update highlight. Basically, I don't know what else they're going to do in that big update. And they said we're only going to get news from it next week. Well, not next week. They said news soon. We're going to hear some information about it soon. Is that next week? That doesn't mean it's next week. It could be the week after, or maybe going towards the end of the month. So we'll probably have an idea of what they're planning to add in the next upcoming big update for this game, but we're not going to get it next week. Next week, I guess I'm going to predict it right now. Next week, I think that Holly Edge estate, Holly Ridge estate, personal space, that's probably going to be a next week's update with some more clothes and maybe some local motions and maybe some Christmas content. But we don't have a Christmas minigame this year, so I don't know what's up with that. But outside of that, there was no other content. That's everything from January all the way till now that I just summarized for you guys in this video, from all the updates that they did for this year. So I'm really curious to see what they're gonna do next for that huge update. Is the graphics update gonna come out? Are we gonna have the PC release? Some kind of idea for that or what they're going on? They just haven't been good with the communication. They still haven't gotten better with that. And people that's going to be watching this, I'm expecting them to update every week. I'm not expecting a weekly update. He's expecting a weekly update. No, I'm not. I'm looking for communication. What you guys got coming up? What you guys are working on? Do you guys have trouble? Are you guys having trouble with something? Something I didn't like as far as the communication. But I'm going to get into that in a little bit. Some things that I like to see more of, I'm going to get into that list now. But they just haven't gotten better with the communication or anything like that. So it's just like, it's tough to really know what's going on. We're just being in the dark. They'll log on for like one Friday. Every Friday, I'm just expecting something from them. Either an update or I'm expecting them to say something. Or maybe like a Thursday night. It's random. Sometimes they came out with on a Saturday. on a late Saturday night with these updates. Late posts and all that. It's just making it seem like we're just in the dark. And just when looking at this list, it wasn't even really much that was really accomplished. Let's just open it up. The only thing we got a little bit more playable content. Expand the game with more public spaces. We got a little bit of that. It's not that many public spaces. It's public spaces off the top of my head. Zero District and then the steampunk space. Everything else is gone. And everything else that was probably just added, those are not new. Those are reworks. The cube is rework. It was already in the game. That's not new. That's just a remake. That's a remake of a public space. And then the Nessus just got updated. The only new public spaces that we got is the Zero District and the steampunk. And I'm looking at these goals again. Character editor code rework. I don't see any changes with the character editor. Regular updates with bug fixes, they haven't really fixed much of anything now. They just been adding stuff, but they're not fixing the problems in the game. And this is just one of the big bugs. Coming to the Nexus and you freeze up like this. This is the first time I've ever seen this happen. Content and events. It was really content and events. You guys, we got some content. At least that I basically talk about this content. But as far as events, we didn't get that much. We didn't even get that much events. I had more events from the hosts from these events. I had more events from these hosts that you have to be invited to for Nebula rounds. It was more events for that than this in the end game itself. I had more fun with that. That's what I noticed. Going to all these different events from people hosting events of their own outside of this. We didn't even get a Thanksgiving event. We don't even have a Christmas event. We just got Christmas outfits on the store. Player ID features, it's all this stuff that really wasn't really added. They missed a lot of stuff. They didn't even really hit much of anything for the goals. If I'm being honest. Now, just to wrap up, things I want to see. I got my list. So I'm not going all over the place. Server stability. And then when I say server stability like this, you can get from point A to point B without freezing and crashing. And then there's no lag like you just saw earlier. And then with the servers, upgrade the capacity so more people could be in the spaces. And then when you host like an event, you can invite players to join them right away. You can invite people to join to connect to your personal space for your event or a tour or whatever you're trying to do or a get together. They can get there in one piece. They don't have to worry about freezing up. Some others I just mentioned right here listed. Increase the Nebula points. Instead of just playing 3 games a day, why not increase the points that we can get from our mini games so we can grind and play the mini games to our heart's content? This is the same thing I already said from over a year ago. The Nebula points need to be turned up. We get 20 points a game. You only can play 3 games a day. And then you could just keep playing, but you're not earning nothing. How come we can't grind for points? Otherwise, if I would be on here more if I could grind for points. But I'm not buying nothing in the game because there's so many other games out. So the points need to be turned up. The cooldown should be removed. Instead of waiting 19 hours, play 3 games and then gotta wait 19 hours and play the next day to get points. Take away the cooldown. Our avatars need to be more lively. You see, I'm just running around. I got the new run and walk, but that wasn't added this year. That was from last year. At least from what I think. The females don't even have a new run and walking mechanic still. Why haven't they gotten that? Y'all gonna give us a feature that's not given to the females? How's that fair? And they still waiting for that. What's up with this is a personal thing for me. What's up with the pinball machines? It's going and when it comes to that, I used to play the pinball machines at the bowling alley. But when I go to bowling alley to bowl, I'm going to the bowling alley to bowl. That's all I do. I'm not playing the darts. I'm not playing pool. I'm not playing darts or anything else. The pinball machines was taken out of the game and never came back. I'm still waiting for that. Are they going to ever bring them back? Or are they going to bring something that's going to be in that little corner when you spawn at the entrance of the bowling alley? Is it going to be something else there or what? They just took it out. It's as if they couldn't even fix it. What happened to our pinball machines? I want my pinball machines back. some other things, some more activities with multiplayer games. And I just said something about the bowling. What's up with that? It's just nothing else that's going to be in the game. You go to all these public spaces. Where am I doing that? The next is that's for a mini game. I'm not playing Chrome Racer. That's an old mini game. Leaf Park. What am I doing? I can't really play go kart. I'll play a couple of tracks on there, but I can't do a go kart race with other people that I want to play against or race against anymore because it just doesn't work, and it just doesn't work. They can't even connect when you try to invite them to queue up for some races and stuff like that. For the go kart racing at the Leaf Park, that's the coolest thing there. You can't even do that anymore. So off the top of my head, for mini games, I'm just playing bowling. I'm just bowling. That's all I'm doing. Hanging out bowling. And then I used to chase fairy lights, but Medieval Village is gone. And I can't even do that because Steampunk space is not safe for me. It just crashes over and over. So I'm hoping they need to put in more multiplayer games. More multiplayer. Stop coming out with single player games. Single player games from like the Zero District space that was added this year, for example. The Light Bites, which was basically from Grand Theft Auto Online, GTA Online's hardline minigame. Basically, in a nutshell, that's basically what it is. But it's single player. I don't even want to play that game. You don't even get rewards. Even as good as the soundtrack is, it's like it sounds cool. They going hard on the tracks, but it's just not that good of a game because it's just only a single player game, mini game. Now I'm gonna get into the communication. The communication still hasn't gotten any better. Now, when I talk about that, the delays with the Zero District, for example, the perfect one, where you go through it, Zero District, they took so long just to try to bring out the Zero District public space. The communication wasn't really all up to par. We waited like a week for like the update, and then they delayed it. We had to wait again another week for it, and they didn't even announce a delay. You announced a delay the day of that you guys update the game on Friday. You announce a delay the day of, and you have people wait. You could have said that prior in the week. You should have said that earlier in the week, so people won't be just waiting till Friday. Oh, I can't wait for the update. I gotta see what the space is looking like. Zero District is looking nice. It was big. It's a huge space, just like Steampunk, but it's just blue screen mania. I think they can't really the game can't handle big spaces probably, because it's just too much. That's just one of the examples of why the communication is not that good. The communication sucks. I hate to say it. And who can I talk to really try to get, answers to questions and stuff like that? I can't. How do I know if I send an email? How do I know if it gets read? I can't go to the forums to ask a question because some of these people are not even friendly for this game. These people are not user friendly. They don't even have the patience to show you how to play. But I came out with my own tutorial to teach everyone how to play because the tabs on the game are not even labeled. It's still not labeled. How are the players supposed to know what all these things do in the game? You see? So it's just so many things that could be better in the game. They need to announce delays when they are earlier in the week instead of just waiting the day of until an update comes out. You do announce a delay right then and there, and you get everybody hyped up for no reason. Say something earlier, say something a little bit quicker, and give us some kind of progress reports. I would like to see that. Progress reports. How's this big update that they're talking about? How's that coming along? Can you guys give us a little bit more details on what's going to be in this big update instead of just hyping it up to be something like Super Kickers League was from this year, only to be disappointed? You see, we don't even know what's going to be in the game. It could be some other stuff that we requested that could be in this update, but I don't see it coming out anytime soon. It's going to take too long. They did so many things. They keep coming out with these little updates. You could have put all these little updates into one big update with these clones and stuff like that. Shut the servers off so you can focus on the game yourself. Focus on the game and stop adding stuff so people can just you can work on the server so people can handle the traffic. So the game can handle the traffic of players and things like this that happen on my screen. I can't even explore and show you guys anything else of what was added because this is just a big example of why the game performance hasn't improved. It just gets worse and worse as they continue to add stuff to the to the game. It gets worse. I would like to see more public spaces. I hope that new update, big update they got, includes the public space. I don't want Holly Ridge Estate. I don't want any more personal spaces in the game. Put that on hold. It's just way too many personal spaces. Personal spaces continue to get all the love compared to public spaces, and then when a public space is added, they just last for a few months and just get removed. Ghost Town is not going to last that long. Ghost Town is going to disappear again. Medieval Village wasn't even really a finished public space. Empty houses and glitches, trees going through the ground and stuff like that. People just floating above our heads and stuff like that. And you could just fall infinitely. You could exit out of the map and just keep falling into nothingness. It's like they rush some of these spaces. They just need to take your time and just test your updates to make sure they work. But when you don't do things like this, when you don't test your updates and you don't just update and fix the problems and you can just continue to add stuff, things like this will happen. It just makes the game just not playable. It just makes it unplayable, and you just want to stay in your personal space that people prefer now because there's so much craziness that goes on in these public spaces now, and things like this that happen. You just don't even want to go on here. You don't even want to stay and move because you're scared. You might not even make it to the next space. Now, this last thing that I want to mention before I wrap up, I want a meet and greet redo. I want a meet and greet redo. That's what I would like to see. That meet and greet, should run around chasing around these devs, trying to get questions answered and stuff like that. I'm not even kidding. I had a list of questions once they came out and announced a meet and greet that was about to come up during the week. I had to get all my questions set up. I was trying to get all my questions answered. I was going to take questions from the chat to answer for you guys if you guys couldn't make it on. Or maybe some people who never even heard about this game that was interested in finding out more about what's going to be added in the game. I was looking forward to that. That wasn't this year. I don't think it was, at least from my memory. But I would like to see a meet and greet. I would like to see another meet and greet. Because that one that lasts only, 10, 15 minutes? 15 minutes, 20 minutes? Only for them to include sneak in an update that same day and kick everybody off the servers? I don't think that was cool. I don't really think that was really cool. I was just really looking forward to trying to get just questions answered for that meet and greet. I was so excited. We just ran around just going from space to space trying to find these developers. I tried to ask them, where are they at? Some people didn't even know the people that were supposed to have answers to be helpful. They didn't even know where the devs were located. It was just so bad. So I'm hoping they do another meet and greet soon, so that way we could get an idea of what's coming up. That'll be a good idea for this big update. Come on here and do a meet and greet, and you could talk about what you guys want to add.